take you off the pedestal. I don't know what I was thinking. Let it be more than drinking and going back to your place, never to see you again. That was simply delusion, followed up with confusion. That was just substitution for a lonely bed. So that's impressive, how much you're messing with my feelings in my heart. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's impressive, how much you're messing with my feelings in my heart. Oh, yeah. I'm going back to the table round. Oh, they saving us up for the stable friend of mine. Cause they know all this time that I was out my mind, thinking you were the one, that it was love, feelings were strong. I should've known, I should know. I don't know what I was thinking. Let it be more than drinking and going back to your place, never to see you again. That was simply delusion, followed up with confusion. That was just substitution for a lonely bed. So that's impressive, how much you're messing with my feelings in my heart. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's impressive, how much you're messing with my feelings in my heart. Oh, yeah. No, you don't care, no, you don't care, no, you don't care, no, you don't care. Could be good, then you fade, then you fade away. No, you don't care, no, you don't care, no, you don't care. Could be good, then you fade away. I don't know what I was thinking. Let it be more than drinking and going back to your place, never to see you again. That was simply delusion, followed up with confusion. That was just substitution for your lonely bed. So that's impressive, how much you're missing. My feelings in my heart, in my heart. Yeah, that's impressive, how much you're missing. My feelings in my heart. Oh, yeah. How much you're messing with me. 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 How much you're messing with me.
Nathan Ivey.com. Mr. Ivey know the show must go on. As far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, closed fish, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than, oh, no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like them templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono be the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati red tag. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. My people at. People at.
morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. We made it. We made it. They say that Thursday is the new Friday, so I guess that means that officially we can say that the weekend is here. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. What's up, early risers? I know some folks have been up since 5:30, getting it in. Get your exercise in, plotting, setting your next plans, goal setting early in the morning. I can say it again. Early risers rule the world. Got to get up early. Good morning to you. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. So even though you hustling out there and working hard, make sure you take some time to chill, relax, live a little. Good morning to you. Now, today's show is brought to you by my friends over at Renew Community Church. They do a live stream series on Sunday mornings at 11:45 a.m. You could tap in on YouTube at Renew Community Church. And on Facebook, you can find them at facebook.com/Cincy Renew. That's CINCI Renew. You can go to their website, which is 3Ws.renewcommunitychurch.org. You can download a free ebook. And perhaps if you're interested, you can sign up for maybe one-on-one coaching. Maybe you're looking for a business coach. Could be a valuable thing to you. So check them out if you're interested. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. On today's show, among other things, I reached out to Scotty Johnson, who is a newly elected, he's a black male, former Cincinnati police officer. And I reached out to him because we got a call from Black Russia yesterday, and it really wouldn't matter who it was. He just happened to call in and say it. This is just my style. I feel like if, we're going to talk about these individuals in the city, let's reach out to them, let them talk for themselves. That's just me. That's my style. So I reached out to Mr. Johnson, and he did respond. So it looks like he'll give us a call this morning at about 8:30 a.m. approximately, and we'll find out what's going on at the Law and Public Safety Committee. We'll find out. Good morning to you. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Good morning. Kentanji got Beowulf ready to call in and talk some real ish, although I'm not a doctor of internal medicine, so I don't know what ish is. Okay, that's hilarious. Okay, and I don't know what a woman is, right? That's hilarious. Yeah, it's been a cultural moment. Judge Kentanji Brown Jackson going through a public line of questioning from these Republican senators. Really what in my opinion, it's only made the Republican senators look foolish in their efforts to try to smear her, try to trip her up. They're making themselves look dumb as fuck. That's like the biggest story. Like the biggest story from yesterday, other than, some very emotional moments between her and Senator Booker, talking about the significance and the magnitude of the moment. Other than that, the big news that everybody's talking about is these dumb-ass Republican senators asking this intelligent black woman the most ridiculous questions that I've ever heard in my entire life, which is on a macro level. Below that, unfortunately, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of black women, professionals, got to go into workplaces where they're dealing with that kind of nonsense on a daily basis. On a daily basis, somebody's going to go to work today. Some black woman, some intelligent, overly qualified black woman is going to have to go to work today and deal with the same damn dumb-ish that we see Kentanji Brown dealing with. That's the flow of the day. If you really want to talk about it, that's the biggest thing I take away from it. Like, damn, it's a damn shame. The most absolute asinine questions. Where is Drop at? How could you what self-respecting human being would ever want to associate with this nonsense? Now, when I say that, it opens the door for the opposite side, because somebody could call in and say, what self-respecting black man would be with the Democrats? So I already know we can go down that line of conversation. I already know. It is what it is. But I'm thinking, what in the fuck? You got senators that don't even it's the last refuge of a scoundrel. Okay, I forget who said that. Some old white dude from the United States said that shit. The last refuge of a scoundrel is patriotism. Patriotism is the last refuge of a scoundrel. That's what the complete quote is. And you see it with these guys up there. They talk that Constitution talk, but they don't even understand what the Constitution is. Like Senator Blackburn, who went on Twitter yesterday and made a damn fool of herself, talking about how she's quoting the Constitution, but she didn't even quote the Constitution. Y'all didn't see that shit? And this woman is a United States senator. And you talk all that Constitution, and you don't even know what the Constitution is and what it reads. This is just yesterday at 4:18 p.m. Senator Marsha Blackburn, the Constitution grants us rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, not abortions. So she thought she was saying some slick shit. She thought she was saying some slick shit about, abortion. And once again, we believe in rights until it comes to a woman's womb. They used to all be up in people's bedrooms. And this woman made a complete ass of herself. A complete ass. Everybody on Twitter laughing at this fool. And she's a United States senator. I can't make this up. It is ridiculous. And they got the nerve to run her down. I mean, it just looks bad. It really looks bad. I posted on Twitter, what if? What if the Republicans had taken a different approach to this, right? Because she's going to be confirmed no matter what. What if they would have taken a different approach? Like, you know what? We're not going to go so extra creepy and extra white and extra caring and daring on this time. We're not going to sprinkle the extra sauce because she's going to be confirmed anyway. This is history. It's the first time a black woman, they're like completely culturally tone deaf. They are complete. They don't even know what time it is. They probably ain't even heard of Wakanda. These motherfuckers ain't even heard of Wakanda. They never saw Black Panther. They don't know shit that's going on with us at all. To pull some shit like that in these days and times, and I just don't understand how anybody could associate with that. And of course, I'm speaking of my little brother Drop. I'm watching it last night. I'm thinking about my little brother Drop. I'm like, and this is your team? This is the team you rolling with? Ted Cruz. Now, what if I was a woman? Well, I can't be a woman, but let's just say hypothetically, if I was a woman, then would I be able to? What are you asking me? Did you see her face? The faces are everything. She was like, what the hell? What are you talking about? Did you see the little back and forth that he got into it with the chairman of the committee? If you missed it, you got to see it. I ain't want to speak. Ask her the question. I'm like, oh my God. These are U.S. senators, really? And listen, if I was consulted with them, I would have told them, don't go through that same old playbook. This ain't the time. You know what I'm saying? Let's try a different playbook. But no, they're literally reading off the paper. Literally and it's like one dumbass thing comes out, and it is reading this. I'm like, why are you reading off of that? Why do you continue to read this? It's the most sickening thing. It's sick. It is sick, man. And you want to be associated with this party. That's my little brother. Let me bring my little brother on. Good morning, little bro. Hold on, no, you're not on. Hold on 1 second. Let me put patch little bro into our motherboard here. You got a motherboard on our show. Good morning. Good morning, Drop. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, little bro. Nate, how can you, well, first of all, good morning to everyone who's listening. And I told you I was going to call all during this process.
Cool.
And again, Nate, I saw your Twitter post yesterday. I couldn't believe it. Nate, see, you just confirmed what I predicted about what was going to be the tactics, the political strategy of both sides in this Senate confirmation hearing of the first black woman who's going to be appointed to the Supreme Court and the third black person in history. And she will sit alongside Clarence Thomas, the first black conservative to be appointed to the court. And again, whenever she's seated, it will be further proof. You will have a black conservative on one side and a black female liberal progressive on the other side, proving my point that the black divide in America is real. And this appointment will prove it, because every single case that comes before the court, as long as those two black people are on the court, it's going to be, this is the Democrats' dream.
It's going to be what?
It's going to be political fodder. The court has solidified itself. Fodder.
But you're not telling us something that we don't already know.
But
obviously,
again, Nate,
obviously it's going to be political fodder.
Here we go.
We know that.
But you tried to say it wasn't, and I told you this was going to happen.
No, I didn't.
And again, Nate, based on your Twitter
how you going to just lie to me like that?
Okay, I didn't lie. Why do you keep saying an opinion is a lie?
You just told a lie. You talking about something? I said something. I never said that.
Nate, when I first made the call at the beginning of the week, at the start of this, you don't remember what you said about the hearing?
Yeah, I remember.
Right.
I didn't say that.
You're doing completely opposite of what you said it was going to be. You said you can't wait to see how the media is going to respond. And you, sir, are part of the media. And I predicted this is the way the media was going to respond. Because again, before I was interrupted, I was speaking of your post on Twitter. And then you brought it up again this morning. This is exactly what the Democrats wanted. When you made the statement this morning about, I can't believe anyone would associate themselves with these dumbass, stupid-ass Republicans.
Right.
That's the goal. That's what I told you was the goal.
Well, if that's the goal, hold on, sir. This makes no sense what you just said, brother.
I know it don't make sense. Nothing I ever say makes sense.
I gotta say that as a sidebar. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, I know.
But you played it
because you're getting ready. Because you're getting ready to agree.
Okay, let's play it all the way out.
You're getting ready to agree.
Okay, let's play it all the way out. If that was the goal of the Democrats in the Senate, and it's so obvious that you can pick it up, then you know the Republicans can pick it up on it, right? They have to know it too, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if they know that's what the tactic is,
too.
If they know
have
that that's what the trap
too,
is,
Nate.
Can I get it out? Using your logic, if the Republican Party knows that the Democrats are going to try to make them look bad, right? Then why are they helping them? By asking the most grotesque and idiotic questions over and over again. Why would you play in to the hand of your opponent?
Okay, first of all, this so-called make them look bad, that ain't what I said. I said it was a political strategy to make them look more racist than they've already been labeled as.
bad, sir. Stop playing with words. You know, it's the same damn thing. I.e. bad, same thing. So why would the Republican Party play into that? If they know it,
again,
if you
sir,
know it and they know it, why would they go up there and make fools of themselves?
I'm speaking to more people than just you, sir, because you have a very broad audience. Okay. Now, again, I will rephrase it again for you, because I think the audience understands 100% what I'm saying, because you stated it in your tweet and you repeated it this morning when you made the statement. Al Sharpton made the same statement this morning on Morning Joe. How can anyone in the Republican Party who has a vote this coming November show their face at a polling place in support of these white, racist Republicans who don't care about this sister who's trying to be on the court? That's the strategy, Nate.
I don't think
it's proven out.
I think it's
being proven. It's being proven right here, and you don't want to admit it.
I think that you
don't want to admit it.
The issues that people have dropped, to be fair, with the display from your party, the Republican Party, is a little bit deeper than just they don't want her to be on the Supreme Court. We already know that.
They can't. She's gonna be on the court, Nate.
Already know that.
See, I don't know what. I don't know why you do this, sir.
And that's part of the issue is we are intelligent people, and we understand that she's going to be on the Supreme Court anyway. So why drag her through the mud with this dumb shit? That's part of the outrage.
You just said it. Sir, wake up, Nate. I know it's early for you. I just pointed out to you the strategies, Nate.
Yeah, and I just
now,
pointed out the flaw in
you
your
don't have
logic
to
about the
accept
strategy.
it.
Your theory don't make any sense.
You don't have to accept it, but maybe someone else can call in who knows about political strategy and how this whole thing was predicted from day one, how it was going to play out. You could play back my tape. You can play
There's
back.
No need to play back
the
tape, bro. We still dealing with the stuff you said in the call today that don't make sense. We don't got to go back to tomorrow. That's way too much work.
Okay.
Just the stuff you said today. So I want to reiterate this to make sure I got it right, because the story that I'm telling myself in my head is what you're saying doesn't make any sense. So can I go through it one more time, sir?
But Nate, first of all,
one more time. I want to make sure I got it.
Every time I get you backed into a corner, you always say it doesn't make sense.
I'm never backed into a corner in a conversation. That's just not going to happen. But can I reiterate it, because I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So what I hear you're saying is that the Democrats are trying their best to make the Republicans look racist. Is that what you're saying? I want to make sure that's what you said, sir.
Mr. Ivey, it doesn't matter what I say. It's how you interpret it.
No, sir. I'm asking you what you said. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's the history.
That's what you said.
That's the history of me and you.
And so
that's
my
the history of me and you.
And so
no matter what I say, you're not gonna. You already said right at the top of this call.
Yes, sir.
When I had you backed into the corner, you said, "Oh, he not gonna make sense," but I'm gonna say this anyway.
Can I get out the corner?
Okay, so why do you keep saying? Why do you keep saying what I'm saying doesn't make sense, but you asked me to repeat it multiple times?
Well, I think those two things work hand in hand, because typically when somebody says something that people don't understand, they ask them to repeat it, and that's the process I'm going through right now. So we got one part. One part is I was right. I understand what you're saying, but what I don't understand
been 3 days, Nate.
is why would the Republican Party, if they understand that let me get it out. What I don't understand and what I need you to answer for me, sir, is if the Republican Party understands that the Democrats are trying to make them look racist, why would they open their mouths and act racist and say racist and say racist things or things that could be interpreted to be racist? Why would they do that?
Because like I said again, man, like I said again,
I will say again, sir. Bro.
Okay, all right. Like I said, from the very first day when Lindsey Graham gave his opening statement, he clearly stated everything that you all confused about. He told America, we are not going to back away from her record, mainly with the child pornography cases and her cases where her decisions were overturned. Lindsey Graham said it. He said it, Nate, and in 3 days, you still cannot find the time to play his opening statement when he will clarify to you, even though I don't make sense to you, your little bro, he will clarify to you what their strategy was from day one.
I watched it, sir.
And you and other black spokespeople, I ain't going to call you a Negro Whisperer because that's not what your show is. But Negro Whisperers like Al Sharpton, all these other outlets, they all, after 3 days, and after what Lindsey Graham told them what his members were going to do, and they were not going to be afraid of being called what you're saying right now. They said it. And the Democrats knew that they were going to question her record. They knew it, but they had the votes to get her through.
They've gone quite a bit off the path of questioning her record, and that's another issue that people have asked. They've asked her some of the most ridiculous questions that have nothing to do with her record whatsoever. What is a woman?
But Mr. Ivey,
what was the question that was asked? It was the stupidest thing ever.
But why do you think? Why do you think, based on the current news and one of your topics yesterday, why do you think she asked? I mean, whoever asked the dumb question, but it's political strategy. Why do you think they asked that question, about what's a woman?
because they were adhering to some type of script, some kind of political strategy.
No, Nate, what's in the news, Nate, right now? What's in the news?
Can I get the question out? You asked me a question. I'm trying to get the answer out.
You do the same thing to me. I was just getting a little payback.
Fair enough.
I'm sorry.
You got me now. So now we even. Can I finish now? Okay. So I think it was part of a political strategy, a script, pre-rehearsed, pre-scripted to try to put her into a position for either getting sound bites that'll be good for donors or Fox News media circles, and or to try to put her in some type of rhetorical trap with a follow-up question. That's what I think. That's why I think they asked that question.
Okay, well, Nate, let me help you a little bit. The reason that question was answered is because what's currently in the news right now and what you were talking about on your show yesterday, as you agreed with Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor of Florida, it's about Leah Thomas. Okay, Nate? And again, this judge, Kentanji Brown Jackson, will be sitting on the court. And this case is going to ultimately probably go to the Supreme Court. This whole transgender women competing with natural born women. That is why that question was answered. And again, Nate, it's political strategy.
Aren't there cases working their way through the court system right now on that particular case?
It's about fundraising. It's about exciting your base.
Question,
it's about turnout in the 2022 election.
Okay. So, anything else, sir?
No, I was finishing up. I wasn't going to let you interrupt me, but I'll answer your question.
Sir. I don't want to interrupt you. Go right
ahead.
Yeah,
you just did. When I was telling you the reason that line of questioning took place in the hearing, that circus, is because of the current news of this transgender woman, which nobody wants to talk about because we know it's a culture war issue, and the Democrats are losing the culture war in this election year.
I think that the reason why the question, I get it, but again, that's a question she can't really ask. She can't answer. She can't answer any questions.
She wasn't intended, Nate. Stop, bro.
She can't answer any questions that there are cases that are working their way through the federal courts. I mean, we already know this.
This case is not in the courts now. I said it could.
Well, I asked you if there were any cases
on
in the pipeline.
Their docket.
Okay.
It's going to eventually get there.
Though, but I don't know offhand, though.
It's not. It's not. No
so you
one
feel proud about being a Republican today after what you saw yesterday in these last couple of days?
Mr. Ivey, first of all, I am not that type of Republican, and you freaking know it. But you can continue to play the card.
Twice, sir. What do you mean by what kind of
continue because I continue to call your show, and I like your show. I love your show.
Continue to keep teaching my brother too.
Well, you can't teach me, sir, because first of all, I know way more about politics than you are willing to display on your show. That. But if me and you were somewhere playing cards, playing dominoes, talking politics, sir, you would not have a chance with me, and you know it.
If you say so, sir.
Anytime,
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Oh yeah. You know what that means. You know exactly what that means, bro. Okay. It's like the picnic. It's like remember back in the day, Nate, when black people had family reunions. You remember back then when the family was tight?
Yeah.
You remember back then. Every family had an uncle like me. You know it. Every single family reunion had that black Republican in their family.
Right.
And you freaking know it. Yeah. And nobody wanted to go head to head with him because you can't win.
So that's a yes.
You cannot
feel comfortable. You still feel good about being a Republican and your allegiances to this party after what you've seen over the last few days. That's a yes, right?
It's sounds because like I understand politics. I understand. I am not swayed by that political circus. But again, Mr. Ivey, that is the purpose of it.
You're not swayed by the treatment of this black woman by primarily these white folks that represent your party. Okay, cool. I got you.
To energize their base. This is the purpose of it. Because once again,
does the purpose really matter?
Confirmed. It's politics, Nate.
Okay.
Nate, come on, sir. How much money has been spent in the last 3 years by our federal government through executive orders, not well, yeah, it had to be passed in Congress, but we're talking over.
What point does that make? What's your point
almost
in saying that?
It's $10 trillion that both of these parties want to control, Nate. That's what it comes down to. And in order to be in power to control those trillions of dollars, you have to have people vote you into office.
Right.
Elect
so what you're
your
saying
party
is your allegiance
from every single level.
So what
and
you're
I'm
saying
telling
is
you right
that
now, Nate,
you're a gosh darn hypocrite. That's what you're saying.
you can call me whatever you want.
No,
but
brother,
that don't
I gotta
mean
call
I'm
you out. I didn't want
that.
to, but if you're gonna go through all
No,
of this, then I gotta keep it real with
okay.
you. You run around here.
Well,
you run around. Wait. Let me tell you about yourself. You run around
I
here talking
run
all this
around.
black, not Democrat stuff. But what you just
Oh,
explained,
you love my Twitter account, huh?
What you just explained is that your allegiance to the Republican Party is stronger than your allegiance to this black woman or black people. You're a damn hypocrite.
I don't. Well, you can call me what you want, but first of all, I do not know Judge Jackson. I'm sure
just
she's
saying.
a fine woman. She has a beautiful family.
I'm just saying.
I have nothing against that woman, but her appearance, her status in this country, hers as well as Clarence Thomas, as well as Kamala Harris, as well as Cory Booker, as well as Tim Scott, as well as Barack Obama, as well as Susan Rice, as well as Condoleezza Rice, as well as Ariana Presley, as well as all the other black people, regardless of their political persuasion, they are in power positions in this country because of what, Nate? Not the Democrat Party. It's because of their own story, their own perseverance, their own struggle that they took upon themselves to reach the highest level,
to the Republican
the
Party.
highest level in this country, in spite of the racist and the racism that they have to face in that endeavor.
I'm just saying, brother, that's a great why it doesn't answer the question. The question is, how in the can you as a black man continue to support this party after what you see they doing with this sister? And you answered it. You are allegiant to the Republican Party. Whatever they got to do politically to raise money and win votes, whether they got to disrespect this black woman or whatever they got to do, you're with it because your allegiance is to the Republican Party. Why you out here talking about black, not Democrat? You's a damn hypocrite, period.
Okay, well, before I go, Nate, all I want to say is I do not take politics personal. Unfortunately, a lot of people who happen to be black in the Democrat Party, they have a personal investment with the Democrat Party. It is deep. It is very emotional, and you have displayed it with your anger toward another black man who has a different appearance. You will insult him. You will demean him. You will do whatever you do to save your own internal struggle.
Cry me a river
your own
with this black
internal
Republican
struggle
pity party
to
bullshit.
support
Stop it.
A
Stop
party
this black Republican
who does
pity
not
party
care
bullshit.
about
Stop
their
it.
constituents. They only care about their vote.
Stop it. Nobody's going for this pity party for the black Republican. Period. Save it. You can pack that shit up and put it in your wallet and take that shit on somewhere. Ain't nobody going for it.
Right. See, Nate, you done got triggered, and you know I don't call your show to make you look bad.
Listen, brother, I gotta go, man. I got Scotty J coming in. I appreciate the conversation.
All right, I appreciate it. Drop Squad 52, cut me off.
You was on for longer than any caller ever. It's supposed to be on, but I got Scotty on the line. I want to make sure we get Scotty in. That's before I bring Scotty in, though. Whew, man, just a breather, man. That was a marathon. Gosh darn it! Excuse my language. Damn, that's my little brother right there. You know little brothers irritate the hell out of big brothers. You know little brothers get underneath the big brother's skin. That's what they was born to do. That's what little brothers do to big brothers. It'll make no damn sense. They don't give us some little pity party. Well, Nate, this what you gonna do to another brother? Save all of that, man. Stop it. The pity party. Nobody likes a black Republican. I don't want to hear all of that. It's not working over here. I'm immune to that BS. Breather. We need a little breather before we bring Scotty in. We got to change. Anybody got some sage? Anybody got some sage? Burn some sage for me somewhere out there. I got a little breather before we bring Scotty on. Woo, man. I think that's the longest I ever talked to Job. Man, but maybe you got something out of the conversation. But let me go straight to the phones here. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, that's me, Nate.
Yeah, Scotty, what's up?
Hey, man. Good morning, brother. Good morning to the Choppers, brother. Great to be on with you. I'm sorry I didn't hear your call, sir, but it sounds like you had a rough morning already.
A little bit. Talking to my little bro there. It's all good. It's all good.
But I know you're a man that is able to handle any and all situations. So.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a minute.
Absolutely.
But I appreciate your time, council member. Council member, it's the first time we've had a conversation since it's been official. I want to say congratulations to you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate all the choppers that filled in the box for me. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to talk with you, man, and keep doing your thing, man, because you're doing it. You're doing it. You're bringing a perspective, Nathan, that is quite different than anything in this area.
Yeah,
so
I
just keep praying for you, brother, and keep doing your thing.
Yeah, appreciate
doing
that,
your thing.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So election night, where were you election night?
Actually, I was hanging with Pops, man. We were the family, the family was together. So election night, I was hanging with my dad, my hero that has always been there supporting and always with that fatherly advice, man, and hanging with the family, man. And I was with Julie and my brothers and sisters and the in-law and their spouses. And actually, I wound up, the party called me after the numbers started looking good. So I did head down to, oh, man, I can't think of the name of the spot at 12th and Race. I can't think of the name of the spot there, but I went there and talked to a couple of reporters and actually came home and soaked it in, to be honest, brother.
Wow.
Came home and soaked it in. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't want to be that old man in the club now. That don't look good.
Why is the council member back there?
Right.
That'll make the news for sure. Be all over.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Interesting.
Yeah,
So,
but
we got a call
support,
yesterday, man.
brother.
And, I'm sorry, what was you saying?
No, the family support, man, the love of brothers and sisters and family, man, that's unprecedented, man, and it's always been the foundation. We're a tight-knit family, so, the shout-out to my family also. They've always just been there, and those are the real folks going to give you the real perspective on yourself and make you do that introspective of what you're getting ready to do and how you do it. So I just love and appreciate my family, really.
Right. Interesting. So we got a call yesterday, and your name came up, and I'm like, man, if we live in the city of Cincinnati, especially you're talking about elected folks, my style is just to reach out to them if I've got some kind of connect to ask them to come on. And sometimes people bring up interesting issues. Sometimes they just jog a memory, right? So we got a call yesterday, and somebody was very critical of what's happening with city council, and in particular with you. And his critique was it just felt like Law and Public Safety Committee wasn't moving fast enough. You guys weren't doing anything. There was some doing enough. And just was curious about what's the plan with Law and Public Safety, and did you have a crime plan, things like that. So that's why I reached out. I wanted to get your perspective.
Yeah. And always, Nathan, you and I go back a little way, so don't ever hesitate to give me a call. I'm not going to ever run from a question that a caller or a voter may have. Was there anything specific? Because let me bring the folks up to speed for those that may not know. We honestly, myself and the mayor, just made sure that $1.2 million was allocated for a new fire pumper truck that their fleet is extremely too old, brother, extremely too old. So we just allocated $1.2 million to get a new fire truck, a pumper, and 2 medic units. We have fallen behind here in the city of Cincinnati when it comes to our fire fleet. And if we've got expectations to make sure that the Cincinnati Fire Department is readily available to serve the citizens of Cincinnati in the manner they've always done it. They've always done a marvelous job. We got to make sure they've got all the tools necessary
to be able to provide quality service. As you saw yesterday, Hammond North, right there on Hamilton Avenue, that could have been disastrous, a 12-story building. Unfortunately, someone did lose their life in that fire. The manner in which they lost their life, I'm not really clear on, but we got to make sure that we're providing every tool necessary for our fire department. Our fire department has gone above and beyond during most critical situations, dealing with COVID, getting through COVID. They didn't miss a beat, and they're understaffed, Nathan. So we got to make sure as legislators in the city prioritize what's important. And I think this was one of the first steps, providing that $1.2 million with more money to come to make sure that they have the proper equipment and the proper tools to get to emergency situations when absolutely necessary. So, those are the heroes in the city, to be quite honest, and we made sure that money was allocated. What's today? Thursday. There was a press conference Tuesday, reference that, and that money's on the way to make sure another pumper comes. As far as a safety plan is on the way. Within the week, you will be hearing about that, which I plan on holding a public comment, a public forum to talk about the different safety plans that the Cincinnati Police Department and a part of that safety plan is going to be youth employment. So all of that is on the way. Working behind the scenes, people have every right to want to know what's going on. But if you break it down, we haven't even been there 90 days. Well, it's coming up on 90. It had a little more than 90 days. I'm sorry. So we are moving the needle early. We don't have time to mess around, to be quite honest. 2-year terms come quick. So the safety plan is on the way. The police department will be heavily involved in that. The mayor, the manager, myself, that safety plan is on the way. So there's things going on that are not making headlines, but we're definitely working, trying to make sure Cincinnati is one of the safest big cities in the Midwest. Just trying to get it done.
Interesting. People never think about fire or firefighters or trucks or anything like that until they need them.
Nate said, I really do believe, and some people may take offense to this, I think our fire department's marginalized. And I think they've just been on autopilot doing their thing year after year after year, making it happen with not even equipped to what they absolutely need. So when people say what's going on, this particular council may not be doing anything, I'm going to stick my chest out because we're moving. At least, did you hear anybody talking about new equipment for fire over the last 2 years? No, you didn't, because money was not prioritized to make sure our firefighters had what they needed. So those are things, like you said, the fire department just gets it done. They just keep going. They just, you don't hear any lack in them. Nobody's perfect, but they keep getting it done. So when I was blessed to be the chair of law and governance, I wanted to make sure they got what they needed. I've had extensive conversations with Matt Alter, the union president, and the fire chief, and those were some of that was very high priority, but we're not finished. There's a lot of need in the city. There's a lot of need for our fire department, and we got to make sure they got everything necessary. So God forbid if a fire's at your house or you need them, they have all the equipment necessary to make sure that they can give you the assist that you may need.
Nat saying that you're doing a pivot to fire. I don't really hear like that, Nat. I think, that's part of, the committee that you chair. So what committees are you on? And again, tell us the committee that you chair and what are the responsibilities and the purview of that committee?
You see, real fast, I pivoted to fire, but I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, I was lost on it too. I was just kind of reading the next thing up. I think what he was trying to say is that I asked you about crime and you started talking about the fire. Yeah, but that's all, as I understand, that's all under the purview of your committee. But can you tell us what committees are you on and which committee do you chair and what falls under that committee?
You got it, Nathan. I chair law and governance. It's the old law and public safety. They changed the terminology a little bit, but law and governance, fire, police, public services, and the rules of council, how council conducts themselves, how protocol is handled in council chambers, how we will conduct ourselves. All of that falls under my purview as the chair of law and governance. So fire is one of them. And I think, like I said, there's a marginalization that we need, that everything is police, police, police. Yes, crime, way too many shootings. We're ahead 30%. I'm not going to run from that. And we're also up 4 homicides from last year. But I do believe that coming out of COVID, this will be the first spring and summer that people are really not locked down with COVID. So coming out of COVID, we have to make sure, first of all, if you want to talk crime for a minute, and then I'll get to the other committees I'm on, talk crime for a minute, we got to make sure that the police department is properly staffed. The Cincinnati Police Department is also understaffed with fire. So when we talk about crime, when you talk about police, proper staffing is number one. If you don't have the manpower to do what's absolutely necessary to provide quality service, then that's the number one problem. So we are looking to hire an extra class coming up toward the end of the year. There's one that should be starting around June, and we're going to add another class toward the end of the year. So those are things. Proper staffing is number one. Number two is we got to make sure that we're providing opportunity for people to where they feel like they have things to do, jobs, employment. That's part of that safety plan that's coming. Youth employment, that's part of that's coming. So it's not just one thing. We are dealing, unfortunately, with a society that doesn't really deal with conflict too easy. So when conflict happens, the community has to be a partner also. The community knows more about conflict and who's beefing way before the police do. So this partnership that has been established in Cincinnati is not perfect. It needs work. Iris Rowley is now has a formalized position with the city of Cincinnati to make sure the police in the community stay on track. That partnership is solidified. So that will also prayerfully be an assist to help cut down on crime. So there are a lot of factors that go into crime, societal factors that contribute to what we see almost every day, unfortunately, in this city and around the country. So that plan is coming. I am also part of the budget committee. I'm also part of Good Neighborhoods, led by our vice mayor, Jan Michelle Lemon-Kearney, and I'm a part of Reggie Harris's committee of housing. So I'm on four committees, staying busy, trying to get the work done.
Sounds very busy. That's got to be a very unique position to be in, right? Because you go from being a police officer, right, on various levels, successful career, to now being a policymaker. So, how does that inform your position and how you look at things now?
It gives me a unique perspective. Here's I think what is a plus in conversations with the police department and interim chief Fiji and the union. They know I know. See, I know the intricate details. I know what is typical. I know what's not typical. I know what it takes to serve the citizens of Cincinnati in the manner they need, they deserve to be served in. So that unique perspective cuts down a lot of muckety muck. I'm a straight shooter. So there are things that I really do believe Cincinnati police can continuously improve upon: quality, fair, impartial service. And that's not anything that ever will be compromised. I will never compromise fair, impartial, quality service. And I believe that the majority of the police department does their best to do that. So that's a plus. Knowing what it takes, knowing how frustrating the job can become, knowing the dangers, serving on the SWAT team for 23 years in the most critical situations, knowing the dangers. But all of that is in place. With all of that being in place, there is also mental health wellness, Nathan, that is now in place in the Cincinnati Police Department, where when police are feeling overstressed and or there are questions about their actions, there are now parameters in place to deal with those that need time off, deal with those that no longer need to be police officers. So those are some things that are in place that will help improve the quality of service that they deliver to the citizens of Cincinnati. So yeah, that unique perspective, being a peer, being on the peer review board in the police department, being a peer counselor in the police department, all of that gives me advantage into this new mental health wellness that Cincinnati police officers will, that is available to the Cincinnati police officers. And I think it's a plus because it helps everybody. It helps the quality of service that they'll deliver to the citizens of Cincinnati. Now, being a policymaker, it's a learning process. I'm not afraid to say it's a learning process. There's a lot more that goes into deciding on a policy than just saying, let's just get it done. One example is the density ordinance that we shot down. You cannot bring in a housing ordinance to Cincinnati and say one size fits all. So the same things necessary in the West End apply in Hyde Park. No, the West End Community Council made it crystal clear in the citizens. They don't want any more affordable housing. They want market rate housing to raise the purview in the West End. Hyde Park and Mount Lookout surprisingly said we need affordable housing. So those are things that you take the time out to listen and cut through all the stuff. And this density ordinance that was authored by Liz Keating, the only Republican, was shot down because there's not a one-size-fit-all. Developers would have been able to come in and say, we're going to put this in your community, and the community would have had no say-so. So those are things that we're doing here on council to say, no, Walnut Hills, Evanston, Bond Hill, Kennedy Heights, Pleasant Ridge, all of these different communities need different things, and they should have the say-so of what they want in their community. This density ordinance that we just shot down would not have provided the citizens that opportunity. It would have gave the developers the right to come in and say, this is what we're going to do. So those are things that are going on where we're getting into the weeds to say, no, the citizens have every right to say what's going on in their community, and we're going to make sure they have that voice.
Yeah, interesting. Speaking of voices and going back to what your response when I asked about like your experience as a member of law enforcement, and I agree. I think that that's a plus. But as you were talking, Scotty, the question came to my head is, what about that balance? Like, do you have somebody close to you in your life, on your staff or whatever, somebody you'll listen to that can give you that other perspective? You know what I'm saying? Not saying you don't have it, but you've got that law enforcement perspective, right? And sometimes that can, what we do the most is what's going to be forefront. But it's somebody close to you to give you that other perspective, right? That citizen perspective as well, to kind of balance it out with your experience.
Right. And you know what, Nathan, I'm glad you said that because I've got a young man in my office right now, Denzel Tubbs. This young man is brilliant. He's a young black man, only 28 years old. And he gives me a perspective that at 60, I know at almost 60, I'll be 60 in a couple of months, I no longer have. So I'm glad you brought that up because that is absolutely necessary to have that perspective of a young black man's perspective and a citizen that has never dealt with law enforcement. He gives me a a perspective that I no longer have. So to be quite honest with you, that is why I look for a younger person in my office that can see things that I don't see. And how he sees it is completely different than how I see it. So I'm so glad you brought this up. This young brother is brilliant. The young brother is on pace. And that's exactly what I was looking for. Somebody, and he's got and I've given him the freedom to be able to say, hey, Scotty, have you thought A, B, C, and D this way? And I'm so glad he's there. He's been, we haven't been there a long time, but the young man is brilliant, and he gives me a perspective that you hit on that I don't have anymore. I see life a little different than I did 15, 20 years ago. As a police officer, absolutely, I see things different. But I do believe, even in service, Nathan, I saw it from a black man's perspective first. And then everything else fell in place, because that's something, even through retirement, that's something I'm not going to take off. That's something I won't be able to take off. And that learned experience is something that will be with me my whole life.
So it's now law and governance, no longer law and public safety, fire, police, rules of council. Mm-hmm. That's under your purview in that committee. So speaking of rules of council, what's next? Is there any proposed changes to the rules of council that is being mulled over by council right now, or anything you can talk about in that particular lane?
The biggest thing now is the transparency. We have to make sure as a council that everything we do is public, so that we don't fall into the trappings, unfortunately, of what happened in the last couple of years with council. Also, we have taken our hands off and allowed the city administration to do what they do. A developer cannot call and meet with me unless I'm there with somebody from the city administration. You see my point? We can meet with developers, but city administration is the ones that is there that's making the call. So those are things that are completely different than that were in the past. In the past, you may chop it up with a developer, but now we have committed to say, if we talk to any developer, city administration has to be there. Somebody from the city administration's got to be there. Even one of the attorneys from the solicitor's office, whoever that may be, but somebody from there has to be there. And those are things that keep us as a council on point to make sure that we don't step outside of our lane.
Okay, interesting.
So that's the biggest one right there. You want to come meet my office? Hold on, let me double check and see who's available from the solicitor's office. Because it's just not worth it. It's not. I can't think of any development that's worth any indication that something shady's going on after what we saw, after what happened here in this city. You would have to be out of your mind. So that's the number one thing that is in place. We have taken our hands off making those decisions. Of course, all that information is brought into us, but it's brought in a public forum. It's brought in during committee. It's brought in before full council, and it's vetted there. It's not vetted in my office. It's not vetted in Landsman's office. It's vetted publicly. So those are things that's the biggest thing that's done differently.
Last question. Is there any legislation that's on your radar screen or in the near future that you want to make sure that you want to let the community know about? Something that your office is working on, or just something that you think is important?
The biggest thing right now, I'm going to say one of the short terms, Nathan, is making sure we find and allocate money for youth employment coming up here. That's one of the short terms. I met with the director of CRC yesterday and his board chair. There are a lot of opportunities for jobs coming up this summer, but we got to make sure that the funding is in place. I'm getting schooled, and I'm admitting this, on how funding is allocated. And some things are allocated specifically for a specific purpose. But when it comes to making sure youth have opportunities and jobs, I think right now a CRC has an opportunity to employ, I think they said, and I'll double check these figures, around 500 young people this summer. 500 young people with jobs paying. They're trying to get more money allocated, with some of those jobs paying $16 an hour. So those are things right now in the short term, as this is budget season. I'm working feverishly trying to make sure that money is there, so 500 young people can go to work and make a decent summer wage. And then also, it kind of in the long term is, how can we keep that going year round? You know, I believe school is the first priority, but we do know there's some young people that have to work. So I would love to see that as a year-round opportunity for young people. So those are some of the short and long-term things right now, pouring into our youth. We ran on pouring into our youth. We ran on employment and making sure we're trying to make sure opportunities available for folk. So we got to start making sure putting our money where our mouth is. I know there's only so much money, but that's one of the short and the long term is if we could do that year round. Just think of the difference that would make of 500 young people in our community worked $16, $17 an hour. That would make a heck of a difference in a household.
Well, Scotty, thanks for your time this morning, man. I appreciate you. And
anytime, Nathan. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate the update. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You got it.
That's Cincinnati Councilman Scotty Johnson. We heard it from him first. I mean, from himself, should I say. There it is, so to speak. What'd you think? Gregson, did that satisfy you? Do you have any other questions? You could have texted me or couldn't call in. He was already on the line. But I think we got a gist of it. He says some plans are on the way. Got a sense of what they're doing with fire. He says jobs, youth development. Some would say that's a progressive approach. When people say, you know, how are we going to adjust crime? They say, well, money for youth jobs. People say that's progressive. To me, it's part of the equation. Absolutely. So what'd you think? Make your own decision. They got 2 years. He's like 90 days into a 2-year term. TC writes, good morning, Choppers. Good morning to you. So these Republican senators look foolish in their efforts to smear Judge Kentanji Brown Jackson. They're trying their best to smear her. Whatever they can do, they're trying to do it. And Ted Cruz is the number one Gilligan in charge. He's the number one Gilligan in charge. I mean, let me play just a little bit of these one of the more interesting exchanges from just yesterday. Check this out. Let me see. Yeah, we're Gucci.
Basement full of yarn, if you'd like to come over.
You said this was egregious. What did you sentence Stewart for? The guidelines said 97, 121 months. Prosecutor said 97 months. You said it's egregious. 6,700 images. You come in with 57
Time
months.
has expired.
Why
Senators
did you
use 2
sentence
minutes
him to
over the
just
allotted.
57 months in the Stewart case? Do you want to address that? Because you're claiming it's cherry picking. In fact, you're welcome to explain any of these cases, but let's take the Stewart case. Why
Senator Coons,
did you sentence him for half the amount?
you're not recognized, Senator. Senator Coons,
You don't want her to answer that question?
you wouldn't allow her any.
Mr. Chairman, she may answer the question. I've asked her why she sentenced Stewart.
You've
an
gone over the
egregious,
time, Senator, by 2 minutes
Why
and a half.
because you've interrupted me for 2 minutes, Mr. Chairman. Will you allow her to answer the question, or do you not want the American people to hear why, with someone she described as an
There
egregious
comes a point, Senator, where you get a little bit.
Chairman Durbin, will you allow her to answer the question?
You won't allow her to answer.
I will happily allow her to. The question is,
Senator
why
Coons, you may
did you
proceed.
sentence Stewart, an egregious child pornography possessor, to half of the amount
Please, Senator.
requested by the prosecutor?
Please, Senator.
I mean,
Will you
this
allow
went
her to
on and
answer
on
the
and on.
question,
Like
Chairman
they really
Senator
think
Coons.
that this is
Why
a
are you
winner
not
for
allowing
them.
her to answer the question?
Like this is sickening that this is a winner for them. Like it's sickening. It's sickening. It's sad that those kind of antics that you saw displayed by these Republican senators is going to be rewarded with campaign donations. You know what I'm saying? That's a sick thing in our society. For a candidate that's going to be confirmed no matter what they do. Like, this is what the people that support you want to hear? And again, I say, so where are they going with this? Do they think she's part of this? Is this, you know what I start thinking, yo? I started thinking they was playing into these QAnon fantasies and theories and conspiracies, right? Because part of the QAnon conspiracy, as I understand it, is they believe that there's like this secret society that's trafficking in children. So are they trying to like touch that sensitive nerve in our culture or whatever? Where are they going with this? The woman, she's a mother. She's a mother. She's a black woman mother. She's a black mother. What black mother, what any mother is pro-child pornography, even after it's been explained over and over and over again. But they know what's going to happen. You know, it's going to be sound bites. I've been watching some of these Republican cats and these conservative media outlets. They are loving it. They get these one-sided clips to try to make the Republican senators look like they're heroes. And like Kentanji Brown Jackson is just like obstinate who won't answer the questions. And then it's kind of like, see, she can't answer that. What is a woman? It's really simple. You're a woman. You got a woman asking a woman about what is a woman. They made fools of themselves yesterday. Absolute fools of themselves. And for what? Some people are saying fundraising. It'll be good for the midterm elections. This is good for the midterm elections. We don't have a chance, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have a chance. This country will never come together politically if this is what, you know, is the new hot thing right now in conservative circles. Again, just the line of questioning and just the logic of it just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense whatsoever, but it is what it is. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Now, I thought Tracy was going to call in this morning. She pledged she was going to call in this morning because not only do I want to talk about these Republican senators, and we spent a lot of time on that, but I also want to talk about Kevin Samuels, my good buddy Kevin Samuels. And there's a new meme that's been making difference, you know, that's been traveling. And the meme, I put up on the screen in a second, but the meme basically is a picture of Kevin Samuels. I don't know if he said this or not. But the writing on that basically says, ladies, if you're not willing to have sex with a man, don't accept his dinner invitation. And cats have been debating it. And I first saw it on Tracy from Cincinnati's Instagram page. That's the first time I saw it. And she and I sent some text messages. I don't know why she hating on this man. There has never been, I mean, it's so funny. The funniest thing about Kevin Samuels that black women don't get, it's the funniest thing. And they all fall straight into it. The funniest thing about Kevin Samuels is that, and he says this all the time, that, you know, certain black women don't want to hear him because he's talking the truth. He's giving a different opinion. And damn it, if that ain't exactly true. If that is 100% true. We'll get to that in a second. But let me go back to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, comrade.
Good morning, sir. Black Russia.
What's up?
So you heard Scotty?
I did.
That's what he's doing now.
Nah,
how you like?
There was a
now?
lot left. Scotty's a good guy, but there was a lot left to be desired out of that conversation. I think somebody said it like maybe Nat said it. I don't know. When it was asked about crime, he went to fire, and I respect that.
He was
He
what?
said he wants to make. Well, I think Nat said that when he was asked about crime, he went to fire.
No, he was.
I think that's.
No, he wasn't.
I didn't say that. Go ahead.
But I want to clarify that, and I did even in the conversation. And the way I took it is that maybe Nat didn't realize is that, because I asked him about what's new, what's going on with the law, and I said Public Safety Committee, then cleaned it up afterward when he said Law and Governance. So I asked him what was going on with the Law and Governance Committee, which part of that is, you know, what they're doing with the equipment for firefighters. That's how I took it.
Yeah, you know.
And then he started talking about what his crime plan was, and then he started talking about the crime part. But I thought it was all part of the answer. I didn't think he was deflecting.
Okay, no, I don't necessarily say he was. I made that observation too. Like, well, okay, I hear what Nat's saying. I find it interesting that they changed the name of the committee though. They took the public safety part off of it. And I mean, does that indicate that they're not focused on public safety? I'm not sure. I mean, that's an AFTAB thing. I don't know how to really feel about that. But in terms of firefighters, you said making sure firefighters get the equipment. We agree on that. The last council was focused on the issue too. Like the firefighters made specific requests for, they wanted ballistic helmets because there were situations where I guess people would be firing their guns and like, I think a firefighter got hit at some point in time, and so they needed ballistic helmets. Council got ballistic helmets. I'm saying that's an issue people focus on typically is firefighters. That's nothing new. I think he said something about the last couple of years, firefighters haven't been the focus. I question that just based upon what I've read. When firefighters ask stuff, if council has the money, they usually give it. As long as that continues, that's cool. Now, he did say he didn't have a crime plan, that it was coming out in a week. I'll be interested to see what that looks like. There was another situation that I tried to put it in the comments, but maybe you didn't see it, where I asked about the police chief search. Like, that wasn't even touched on. So I think that's a big issue, too, on who. That's cool. I think that's a big issue, too. Who's going to be the next police chief? You know, that didn't seem to be in the radar, although we got an interim.
Well, why isn't there going to be a national search? There's going to be a national search, and then I guess they'll give council so maybe you're looking for an update with the national search. Maybe is that what you're looking for? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's something that's in his purview too. I mean, he's going to weigh in on that at some point in time. I know AFTAB makes the call, but how's that going? I'm sure he has some insight. You know, if he said him and the mayor's been working together in terms of coming up with a crime plan, it just seems like that would be part of that natural conversation. You know, to talk about, okay, so who we like. I'm sure they have applicants already. You know, who do we like? What are we looking for out of a police chief? I don't know. I mean, it seems like, again, I'll go back to my original point yesterday. Things aren't moving quick enough. And I respect Scotty in terms of saying, you know, we've only been there a little over 90 days. He's kind of learning on the job. I get all that. But, there just seems to be a lack of focus on what the agenda is going to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just seems to me like you just take the shit as it goes. I hear that, but, like, where's your agenda? Like, there was no agenda kind of spilled out for Scotty. Like, he didn't give, like, things that, like, he's going to focus on specifically. I guess that's what I was looking for. You know, I'm not sure if anybody else was looking for that, but I was kind of listening out for that, and I just didn't hear that. Again, I like Scotty. This ain't about personally Scotty. This is about the job he's elected to do, right? So, for me, it was like, kudos for him, coming on and talking to the folks, but there was a lot that left. I walked away from the conversation like, I don't know. He told you what the next thing he was working on. He told you what the next thing he was working on in terms of dealing with crime. And then I asked him what was next for the rules of council. He told you what they was working on. He told you what they was working on in terms of firefighters. I think he answered that on all three.
What did he say? What did he say about?
He was listening. You didn't hear him say it?
I didn't hear. No, I didn't hear him say it.
Gosh darn it! I asked the man about the rules in
council. You asked the man.
I'm gonna go down the list. Gosh darn it! I asked the man about the rules in council, and the man said that they was working on perhaps changing it so that when the councilman sat down with a developer, that there was a meeting, there was a member of the solicitor's office there as well.
Right? That's his policy.
I'm just saying that's what he said.
That's his personal policy. That's his personal policy,
but that's
bro.
part of his agenda. You asked for it. He said it. When it came to fire, he said he's going to be working hard to try to get more monies to deal with some of the equipment issues with the fire department. And when it comes to crime, he said that within a week or so, he'll have a crime plan out. But his first issue is working on money for youth jobs. That's what he said. That's the agenda. So his public safety plan is getting money for youth jobs. You asked for what his agenda was.
I'm just saying.
The man gave you an agenda. He also told you that his crime plan will be out soon.
All right, bro. The people can determine what they got out of the conversation. Like, my personal thing was, a lot there's a lot left to be desired.
I don't think
as
that
a voter
Scotty
on
could
my
have
end.
said anything that would have satisfied you, man. I don't think so.
No, because
Nothing he could have said
Scotty
that would
gets the benefit of
satisfy you.
that's not true. Scotty Johnson, out of all those council members, for me, will get the benefit of the doubt 10 times out of 10.
Really? You
That's
ain't
how
giving it to
highly
him
I
right
think of
now?
Scotty Johnson.
You ain't giving it to him
Well,
right
because
now?
it's not a look. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Okay, I really am. But when it came to crime, I'm trying to plan to be out next week. What I said was, hey, I'll be looking for it. But in terms of like, if his main thing is for the safety is focusing on youth
But he
jobs.
also said that his focus
Come on, man.
that was the only thing. See, you weren't paying attention. Either you weren't
I'm
paying
listening,
attention,
bro.
and that's
It's
your
simply.
fault. If you weren't paying attention, that's your fault. Or there's nothing Scotty Johnson could have said to satisfy you. Because not only did he talk about jobs for youth, he also said, I think that the police are understaffed. We need to look at that as well.
The police are always understaffed, bro. They've been understaffed for the last like 20 years.
Saying, you're asking for what he gave you. He gave you what you're asking for. That's what I'm trying to say.
Look, I ask on behalf of being a taxpayer and a voter in the city of Cincinnati. So he ain't giving me personally anything. You know, I'm just asking questions. He gave what he gave. Okay. My reaction was a lot that left be desired. I'll look for the crime plan next week. I'm just curious, you know, hey, what was going on? He said what was going on. I mean, people could take it or leave it, right?
Right.
That's kind of how it goes.
Absolutely.
Before I got off the phone, though, I do want to say something to your overall topic about the confirmation here. So I've been watching every second of it. And, you know, I brought this up in the chat with Ronald Lackey because people were talking about how outrageous Lindsey Graham was about asking Judge Jackson about her religion, right?
Right.
But it's like people seem to forget that Dianne Feinstein was on the same shit when Amy Coney Barrett came before them to get seated in 2020, where she told them like the Bible is loudly in you and all this other stuff. Like they do this type of stuff. Of course, the Republicans are going to fundraise off this. They can't stop her. They got 51 votes. That's all you need. So if, you know, they got to march in Kamala Harris to get the 51 votes. They're going to do it. So they're not going to stop this justice. But at the same time, it's like people tend to forget how some of these other candidates were treated when they went before council trying to say, oh, this is a black and white thing. This is absolutely not a black and white thing. This is about judicial philosophy. And it's about how you attack a philosophy. And so people want to attack Amy Coney Barrett's religion. You know what I'm saying? They did that. And then Lindsey asked a question about her religion. He was making a point. He really didn't give up, you know what I'm saying, about her religion. But he was just simply showing the hypocrisy from the Democrats. That's it. This ain't nothing about.
So you caping for the Republicans too, bro?
I'm not caping. What I'm saying is that the Democrats do the same thing when the shoe's on the other foot. Ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. You know what I'm saying? Like that is like, are we that shallow to be like?
I doubt. I don't believe that. I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe it one bit. I think.
Well, okay.
I think that anybody that's ever watched any of these confirmation hearings will know that the opposition party is surely going to be asking some questions designed to like probe and prod and try to pull out some points in your record that they think would be unflattering. I think
that's on both sides, right? Yeah, that's on both sides, right?
You show me where the Democrats have done the same thing to a black female first nominee.
They ain't never had no black female nominee.
Any department, not just Supreme Court, but any time. Because you said the Democrats do the same thing, and I'm saying I ain't never seen it before. I ain't never seen the Democrats do that to a black female nominee, right?
See,
with those
you
level
looking
of
at the color of it. That's the problem.
With those level of questions, because you're just talking about the religious thing, and maybe you're right about that. But some of those other questions are just beneath her. I've never seen that before. Can you send me a link? Because I'd like to see it.
I'll put a link in the chat.
Thank you. I'd like to see that.
But as it relates to like, so you playing identity politics. They ain't never did this. I ain't never seen them do this black female. Like, bro,
you made the comparison, sir. I'm not playing identity politics.
I am. I'm making a comparison in terms of the street thing.
Democrats would do the same thing, and I thought about it.
Absolutely.
And I've never seen the Democrats do the same thing to a black nominee like that, a black female nominee. I've never seen that level of stupid ass questions. I've never seen that before from the Democrats. I've never seen that.
A black female nominee ain't never been in that seat.
Send me a link. What candidate
put the link in the chat, bro.
What black female candidate you ever see the Democrats
See,
do that?
That's what I'm saying. You playing identity politics.
I'm not playing
Again,
identity politics.
yes, you
You
are.
made the
You
comparison.
talking about black females, right? Look,
She's
I'm
a
making
black
comparison
female,
between
sir. She's
what's
a
that
black
got to
female.
do with it? It ain't got nothing to do with the
It's
philosophy.
got everything to do with it.
No, it don't. See, that's what I'm saying. Identity politics.
What
I'm
you mean?
talking about.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me that when you look at Judge Kentanji Brown Jackson, you don't see that she's a black woman?
I mean, that's no shit, Sherlock. But that ain't got nothing to do with it. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
Obviously, race is a part of it. Then.
No, it's not. You want to make it a part of it. I'm saying it was about religion.
You got a black female candidate, sir. I want to make sure you understand what you're saying. What I'm hearing right now is that you don't understand how race is all a part of this, how it's racially charged. That's what I'm hearing right now.
No, that's what you're hearing right now. No.
Oh, okay. So you do realize this is racially charged then?
No, it's not. It ain't got nothing to do with her race.
Dear Lord, you got the first black female woman ever nominated to the Supreme Court, and nothing but white Republicans who are asking her some of the dumbest and stupidest questions ever. And you telling me that this don't have nothing to do with race?
Zero.
Okay, I disagree with you,
It's got to do. Yeah, that's cool. We can agree to disagree.
I mean,
it has
if nothing
everything to
less
do
than
with
just
her judicial philosophy.
the perception of it is racially charged, if nothing else. But okay, sir.
That's your perception.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's not my perception. It's not just my perception. It's the reality of what I'm seeing here.
Bruh, ain't no black female ever sat in that seat before. All I'm saying is, all you gotta do is look at how Amy Coney Barrett was treated.
Amy Coney Barrett is a white female, sir. You can't make that comparison. You said that the Democrats would do the same thing. And I'm asking you to show me where they've done that before.
I put the link in there when they've done that. But you're going to say, oh, well, they ain't never did it to a black female before. What the? Well, this ain't going to do with her being black. See, that's the problem with the whole scenario.
Like this to the Democrats unless you're going to compare it exactly. Which would mean
exactly,
for your comparison to be true, you would have to show me an example of the Democrats grilling a black female candidate the same way you see these Republicans with this line of questioning, and then I'll say, okay, you're right. Until then, I've never seen it before.
You're asking for an impossibility, bro. A black people ain't never been in that seat before, but we got a white female who sat in that seat.
It could be
about
any seat.
2 years ago.
Supreme Court. It could be, you got federal judges. You got all kind. You through the annals of judicial history, you can't find me one example on YouTube. That means it don't exist.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Then you want to compare circuit court judges, the Supreme Court judges. They got different roles, bro. Supreme Court is the final say. So circuit courts get overturned all the time. But you trying to pull race into this whole thing like it factors. It don't factor, bro. It don't factor.
Yeah, race is not a factor at all. Race is not a factor.
Not in this question.
Okay.
Not in this question at all.
Yep. Not in this process. Race is no factor whatsoever. Okay.
None.
Even though race has been a factor since this has been about race since Joe Biden said he was going to do this during the campaign. It was about race. It's been about race all through this process. The Republicans, conservative media talking about how it ain't fair. Letters to the editors talking about how it ain't fair. You even have black female conservatives weighing in talking about race. And you're the only motherfucker in America who don't know this is about race. Okay,
the confirmation process has not been about race. It is about judicial philosophy and about her religion being brought in. I was specifically talking about Lindsey Graham, how he questioned her religion, quote unquote, because he was making a point about how the Democrats questioned Coney Barrett's religion, quote unquote, through Dianne Feinstein. I'm just saying, both sides do this shit, all right? You want to say, well, it's about race. No, it ain't, bro. Not in this case, not in the confirmation process. No, it's not.
Okay.
I ain't heard not one racial question in the confirmation process from either side, other than the Democrats saying, you the first black female. So that means shoot her with kid gloves in the confirmation process?
It's been about race. Hard, bro. You ain't been paying attention, bro.
Bro, I watch all this shit, bro. Attention.
So you missed it when Senator Marsha Blackburn asked this woman about her support of being on the board of a school that taught kids about so-called white privilege. This is a white woman. Wait, this is a white woman in the Senate asking this black nominee that line of questioning, but that ain't about race whatsoever, is it?
No.
Okay.
No. It's about her philosophy.
But right. Yeah, we definitely.
All right, come on, man. We ain't making no hit. We ain't making no headway on this one,
no, we ain't. Yeah, I can tell, bro.
I'm a holler at you, bro.
Yep. Lucky me. Lucky me. Yeah, I just disagree on that. I think if you've been watching any part of this, ever since Joe Biden said that I want to nominate a black female, it's been about race. It's been about race ever since then. But he's the only in the world that don't know this is on some levels, touching the culture. It ain't about race. You got black women all over the country that's looking at this a little bit differently, but it ain't about race. Okay. And again, that's where I say if the Republican Party was thinking that, they're culturally tone deaf. They must not care how they look, I guess, because they're fundraising into their little, Republican bubbles. So I guess if it works for you, it works for you. But to me, it's quite obvious. Quite obvious. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, my good brother.
Hey, good morning to you. Doing well.
All right. Hey, excuse me. It's nice to hear, Scotty and what was going on. I just want to, for some people, really taking Scotty to task. He hasn't even been in that office 6 months.
Yeah,
so
90 days.
I know this is, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know there are issues pressing and I just know, like, in certain jobs, and you get in certain jobs and people want you to make this 100% turnaround and address this, and this. And keep in mind, when you took the job, there were already lingering issues out there that needed to be addressed from the previous person that had the role or the previous city council. So all I'm saying is some of y'all asking for unrealistic stuff that you wouldn't, if you were in the same position, you wouldn't even be able to handle. So just check yourself a little bit on that. But to get to the black operative and to drop, I'm convinced those brothers are cynical, and they so cynical about the political process that they don't think people actually, that they don't think that some politicians or people are actually there to serve and do the right thing. And that's a shame. And that's how they get to this place where they have these cynical views. For the black operatives to sit there and say, well, race didn't come up at all. I mean, if that's not the biggest example of cognitive dissonance I ever heard in my life, I don't know what is. I mean, bruh, you run around here like you know all things about legal, but then say some dumb shit like that. So I'm questioning your legal bona fides when you say stuff like that. Yeah, I'm questioning you openly. I don't care if you did graduate from law school. Are you practicing? And if you're not practicing, why not? So enough of that. But, I want to live on a high note, Nate. And the high note is we always talk about black love, right?
Yep.
And showing black love. So I saw black love with Cory Booker having the back of Judge Jackson yesterday. And if you understand decorum in the Senate, there are some things, I can't come at another senator and call him a liar. You can't do that because it breaks protocol and decorum in the Senate. But the way he went about, he kind of flipped it a little bit and spoke positively. But he had to let that sister know, I got your back. And that's really what he was doing. These white people don't understand that. They don't know that perspective. And only black people would know that perspective and understand what that brother did. So, while we out here getting all caught up in the minutia of, the Republicans and, and their strategy to make campaign articles on this confirmation hearing, because that's all it is. They're making advertisements to red meat to their base. But the beauty part was Cory Booker did come out, protect the sister, had her back, and she needed to hear that because it has been grueling. Anybody that's been in a position that's been put on Front Street and questioned about your credentials, questioned whether or not you're good enough. And she just went through that again. With her impeccable record, she still went through that. And half them mofos couldn't even touch a hint of what she did. So, let's just leave it on, at least for me, I'm leaving on that high note that black love that Booker showed the judge, and just keep that in perspective. That's when somebody really has your back. Take care, Nate.
Yeah, appreciate the flows. Great flows. Interesting. A lot of different perspectives. I appreciate it. Now, I want to say this to my boy Drop. Okay, you can be big bro. You can be big bro just for a moment if that makes you feel better. Okay, this is little bro talking to big bro. No, I don't want to feel like I hurt your feelings or anything. I was just thinking, I heard when he got off the air, he didn't have that same wind underneath his sails. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not, I got to be tough on my brother because I can't have him out here sounding crazy, calling to other shows, saying ridiculous stuff. If I don't tell him, that means I don't love. Okay? And I don't want my brother to be looking crazy out there. So you can be big bro for the rest of the show. The next 20 minutes, 18 minutes, you can be big bro. And then tomorrow back to regular business. Oh my God. Drop gonna kill me, man. Hitting them with the big words. What big words is that? What time was it? Did somebody say that? 9? Oh, a little while ago. He talking about Daryl. He did hit him with it. FG's in the house. Okay. Well, look at that avatar. Yes, he showed what having a sister back looks like in public. In public. It's very, very key. Betting Public Sports Show writes, nah, Glenn, that ain't why he was dismissed. It was time he get the wait. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what they're talking about. We did have a few people that was trying to call back. I'm running with that one line system right now, as I said before. So call me back and I'll try to put you straight on. All right, there was a couple people trying to get in. There it is. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Nathan. It's Kev on the cell.
What up, Kev on the cell? Good morning.
Man, I got to go old school. For my man, T-Grad, man, what you have just heard, it's no one, oh, my God. Come on, bruh. I know. I ain't even say none of it because I can't remember it. I'm like livid right now.
Right. Just made us all dumber. Everybody in this room dumber, right? Something like that.
Everybody in the room is dumber. Was that done during the congressional hearing or something like that? Listen, man. Look, I watched that entire thing yesterday. To me, it's riveting because she just keeps, when she spits knowledge about. Listen, there is a defined role for the judiciary, and there is one for the legislature. They are not the same. And I'm not going to speak to you about creating policy because that's not what we do. We define what policy is supposed to look like. We don't tell you what policy is. You know what I'm saying? We don't make the policy. We just define it, right? The woman was crushing. I felt bad for the people talking because they looked so childish and immature, bruh. So childish and immature that I'm going to take the high road. I'm not going to continue to answer this question that I have answered several times. But the worst part about this whole thing, Nathan, is this is not the first time this woman has gone before these people. She went in front of the exact same people a year ago. Ain't nobody say none of this. None of it. So you telling me in a year, you as a Mr. Congressman, Republican Congressman, and the other bad part is, the judiciary is actually supposed to be nonpartisan, although parties select, partners, right? But it's supposed to be nonpartisan. And they're literally in there saying, well, you guys on the other side of the aisle and you guys, but there should be no aisle. You shouldn't even be discussing aisle. This is about whether this person has the competence to stand in the role. Man, if you say this ain't about race, Cory Booker gave it to him, man, right to their face. And he was smart.
He didn't call out anybody in the room. All he did was speak directly to the candidate. All he did was speak directly to the candidate and say everything he wanted to say to each one of them individually, right then and there. It was a beautiful thing, man. I almost had a tear in my eye, bro. But if you think this ain't about race, that's just asinine. That's foolish. It's ludicrous. It's childish. It's sophomoric. This is absolutely about race. This is about race because this is a midterm election year, and the Republicans want to use this position as basically saying, you know what, we're against soft crimes, this, and that, but most importantly, for all our people out there carrying banners and going to South Carolina and storming the White House and taking back our country, for all you people, we still got your back. We're still watching out for you. We're not going to let one of them get in here, especially not a female. Oh, my God. It's about race and gender. Absolutely is. And I don't want anybody to try to color it any other way. Nobody would. They wouldn't have any other grounds to come against her. Quite frankly, they're saying that it's about policy, but again, you supported her policies last year. What changed? Oh, she trying to get to be one of them uppity niggas. We can't have them uppity niggers now telling us what to do. That ain't gonna happen. Mr. Tom Cotton from No Neck Turtle looking. I'm in my fellas, man. Totally triggered, man. But look, this sister is qualified. There ain't nobody been as qualified. They showed a chart of the progression towards the high court. They showed a chart, and nobody filled all the blocks that she filled. And that's of the current people who are in the role. Nobody filled all of those blocks. Nobody clerked for every level of the court. No one did that, right? So anybody out here that's pushing anything else, drop. We know you know, I got you some tissues, bro. I got you Kleenex, the good kind with the lotion in them. You know what I'm saying? Dry your little tears up, man. I'm sorry, bro. I've been on this too long. I apologize. I apologize to everybody out there. I know y'all like, man, come on, kid. Let it go. But I can't. Cory Booker gave it to that lady. Gave it to them, and gave her props. And she's my shining star too. I want that to be the takeaway. She's my shining star too. Be blessed, bro. I done spoke too much.
He said I spoke too much. Thanks for the call, Kev. Oh man, people be getting on Kev saying he's long-winded. I don't know. I'm here for the flows this morning. 513-873-7134. If you'd like to share your thoughts, I'd love to hear them. There's some other news I wanted to share with you. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Like everything else, I got everything in the phone, like everybody else in the world. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Let me say this. So on April the 9th, between 10 a.m. approximately, we'll say about 3 p.m. in the afternoon, I'm going to be shooting some video for a new project. And so we're looking for some folks. Now, the location for the studio will be in the Coreyville area. And we're looking for folks. I'm just need about 10 people, men and women of different ages. So if you're available on the 9th, that's a Saturday, hit me with a direct message. I'll be asking you some questions. Take you about 15 minutes, 30 minutes tops of your time. You'll be in and out. Could be much quicker than that. Just depends on how long-winded people really are. And we'll be doing it for video, teaming up with a local creator for a new project. So I'm going to put a flyer out today as well. And when you see it, please respond to it. And again, we just need about 10 people to kick things off. So I'll talk more about it tomorrow as well. But we got John from Princeton, New Jersey is on the line. Hey, good morning, John.
Good morning, Mr. Nathan Ivey and the good people of Cincinnati, as well as the good people around the world. And yes, those choppers. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. Welcome. It's been a minute, brother.
Yes, it's been a minute. Interesting theater yesterday as I was watching, like everybody else was watching, bits and pieces of the so-called hearings, if that's what you want to call it. But what, and I think you and the callers kind of brought it up, the jackass cruise He should know better. His ancestors are from Cuba, but he should know better. But yeah, him and White Cracker, Lindsey Graham, Southern, excuse me. Let me give him his title properly. Southern White Cracker, Lindsey Graham. They break the rules. They go over their time limit. Lindsey Graham did it twice. He did it the day before and he did it yesterday. I'm surprised that commissioner or whoever was in charge, I think he tried stopping him a couple of times, but he kept rambling on, running his mouth, as you stated and your callers, talking about nothing. She's going to be confirmed. We all know that. I guess she got emotional on some of the stupid questioning, but I was studying her body language. I was looking at her face. I can read her mind looking at her face. I think she wanted to just lay Lindsey Graham and stupid Cruz out, but she didn't do it. She tried keeping her cool. But I guess, as your last caller indicated, Cory Booker, he's a little theater too, but in a nice way. I understand. He's defending her. He's passionate. He's always like that anyway, coming out of New Jersey. Guy's always a little theater. And some of his colleagues complain. When he gets on the Senate floor, he rambles on. Okay, I understand. All of these guys, Cruz and Lindsey Graham, is playing up to Trump because they know Trump is watching, playing up to their, should we say, constituents, so they can get votes. And they want to pad their pockets too. They don't give a damn about their own party. They don't give a damn about anything except padding their pockets. Those constituents and the companies that bankroll them, the money on the side. They play the game. And this is nothing new. They go down in history and selling the American people down the drain. So they get up and do these town hall meetings and they ramble on and run their mouths. And they're all about, once again, padding their own pockets. Didn't Cruz get in trouble last year running off to one of the islands, and then he got caught by the press? Oh, where you going, Cruz? Oh, no, I was just escorting my family. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, these guys are scum. They're always scum, and they will continue to be scum in selling the American people down the drain. Yes, John's book is coming out at the end of the year. The chickens have come home to roost. I talk about these characters and what they have been doing to America for 200, 300 years, and they will continue doing it. Guess why? Because we vote them into office. Excuse me. Some of us vote them into office. They love selling the American people down the drain. It's interesting that interview you did with the officer, or should I say, former officer, law enforcement. I guess he's in the politics. I came in the middle of the interview. I didn't catch the whole thing, but it was very interesting. And I wish you could allow the public to call in and ask him a question. I think one of your callers kind of briefly talked about that. So I think the public should have a chance to question some of these people that you come on the airwaves and give the people a chance to make them answer questions. But what troubles me with these politicians, I'm not saying he's a politician, but I came in the middle of the conversation. But these politicians, as I stated, have been selling the American people down the drain. And where are the factories? Well, Nathan, you weren't alive. You probably was in diapers at the time. Well, no, you weren't probably alive. But in the 40s and the 50s, factories were running high and mighty in this country, in every major city. Then all of a sudden, the politicians allowed these companies to set up outside this country and peddle this garbage back to us. I'm surprised nobody haven't done a case study on why. Okay, I hear Biden. The factories, we need to bring them back, and some of the other. No, they don't want that, because once the factories set up in the 30s, 40s, and the 50s, then the unions got involved, and that was the tailing end to where this country went. These companies didn't like it because the unions were putting pressure on these heads of officials of these companies, putting demands. Then these companies got smart. Oh, remember Ronald Reagan telling these air traffic controllers, hey, you either get back to work or you're fired. Oh, once Reagan did that, then all those unions was running scared, and these companies set up, sure, And now we're paying the dear price that we're paying in this country. As Malcolm X stated, the chickens have come home to roost. We're paying the price of losing the factories, peddling the garbage, the oil, all of this stuff should have not been. If we hold these politicians accountable, the same ones, when they leave office, they sit on the boards of these corporations and they make more money. They get their pension from us suckers that are paying them for their pension. Plus, they sit on the boards of these companies making millions of dollars. They're doing what they all do, which is sell the American people down the drain. I'm out of breath, Nathan Ivey. Where do I go from here?
I'm not sure, sir, but I appreciate the call. Have a great day, John. Somebody wants to know, you in Princeton or Florida?
I'm in Florida.
You're
I'm no longer in Princeton no more. I'm in Florida enjoying the sunshine out here. Well, it's a little sunny today, but it's nice and warm. I wish Nathan Ivey one day do one of his shows down here for a whole week on Miami Beach. I don't know if the wifey will let you do that, but yes, it would be nice if he do a show for a whole week in sunny Florida, broadcast, and we can line up guests for you down here too. It's good to get the direction to where people feel about the South, and so maybe that's something you might want to take on one day. It's not a hard thing to do. You can do it.
All right.
Have a nice
day, John. Take it easy. With that, oh my God, Nat Rice, John getting his Deshaun Watson on. See, dang, you took long enough. Wait for the free commercial at the end. Go get him, John. Kevin is hilarious. As I said earlier, I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at Renew Community Church. They do a Sunday morning live stream, 11:45 a.m. Sunday mornings. That's Eastern Standard Time. You can tap in on Facebook at facebook.com/Cincy Renew, CINCI Renew, or at Renew Community Church live stream. You can subscribe to either one of those platforms. This week's topic, you deserve emotional happiness. This is part 2 of the series. Have fun and enjoy your life. And again, you can tap in. If it's for you, great. If it's not, well, tap in later. But that's every Sunday at 11:45 a.m. If you go to their website, 3Ws.renewcommunitychurch.org, you can sign up for a free ebook and or coaching. Maybe you're looking to be a business coach with Charlie Winburn. Check it out on Sunday. All right. Very interesting, man. Got into my man Drop. I feel like I hurt Drop's feelings. I do. And I don't like that. I had to reach out to him and make sure Big Bro's okay. And I don't know what the hell Black Russia was talking about. I mean, it was about race as soon as Joe Biden made it about race. When he said, I want a black female, he made it about race right there. But okay. Appreciate everybody's call. Listen, have an excellent rest of your day. I'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. And I brought up Kevin Samuels, but this was the biggest topic for today's show. Perhaps I'll bring it up tomorrow. I know people have a strong opinion about that. And Tracy from Cincinnati said she was going to get at me. And so did Donnie B. And I can't wait to hear what they have to say because enough is enough. But we'll get to that on another day, perhaps tomorrow. Have an excellent rest of your day, family. Remember our motto. We'll catch up tomorrow real soon. Until next time, I'm Nate Ivey, and I'm out.